Good evening, folks, and welcome to the 6 o'clock news on sbynews.com. Listen, I hope everybody enjoyed a great weekend. It was fabulous weather. I got away and just enjoyed myself tremendously along with my family. I hope you guys had a great time as well. The weather was just perfect for everyone. Not much actually happened over the weekend, locally I should say, but of course Congress went ahead and passed the health care reform bill thing. And of course that stirred up one hell of a controversy here on Salisbury News. We asked, were you happy about it or not? And I got to tell you, it didn't take long for hundreds of comments to come flying in, and they just keep coming one after another. It's amazing what's going on out there. People are clearly upset about all this. You know, at this point in time, in my opinion, it's time to sit back, watch what happens with this. You know, let's not ignore the possibilities of this, because, you know, they're making the blind promises right now in comfort zone kind of legislation to pass this through to make sure everybody feels comfortable. Of course, everybody's uncomfortable, but with what is done is done. There's not a whole lot we can do about that. In fact, while I'm on that, there's nothing that can be done to overturn this until 2013. Did you know that? That's an absolute fact. Even if we fought this as much as we wanted to, nothing can be overturned until 2013. So there is a, what is it, the Attorney General, I believe it is, pardon me for, the Attorney General in Virginia, that's right, yeah, it's the Attorney General in Virginia, has already filed suit against him in reference to this. You know, who knows what's going to happen with all this. You're going to see lawsuits flying left and right in reference to this, and it's just, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing how our government's working. Absolutely amazing how we the people are no longer we the people. Look, like it or not, Democrat, Republican, Independent, it really doesn't matter to me. You know, the point of the fact is this a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know if that's necessarily the point. To me, the point is watching millions of Americans come together across the country against this healthcare reform. That's the big key issue here to me. And when you have so many people that have come together to fight this, and our government went and did the opposite anyway, you got to wonder what's going on here in this country, folks. You really do. And look, I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, or Independent. I don't care. If you're that stupid and you're that blind, and I'll tell you what, let me put it in the Democrats' favor for a minute. Let's go back to President Bush versus Gore, or Bush versus Gore at the time. I don't care what anybody says. Do you really believe that that election wasn't fixed? Do you really believe that Bush won Florida? We've seen changes in our government for quite some time. The writing's on the wall. I'm not one of those people that supports a revolution, because, you know, quite frankly, it cracks me up. And I'll tell you why it cracks me up. And I've said this to some very close friends of mine who are on the edge there with the revolution. Let's just say you had one in this country. Who's going to run the country? They don't even think that out first. They don't even have a leader. They just want to revolt. And that's what's wrong with spontaneous reaction. What needs to happen here is that Americans need to look at how the government is taking over this free country. Okay? Whether healthcare reform is good, bad, or indifferent for this country, clearly it was something. Enough. There was enough. Forget about whether there was a majority of people that were against it. Anytime any other politician sees enough pressure and they get the feel that they might be headed in the wrong direction, and my prime example is Frank Cradaville. Frank Cradaville knew as a politician he wanted to keep his job, he better vote against it. And he did. Still doesn't mean he's going to keep his job. But that's the pressure I'm talking about. It's the feel. You cannot tell me any other item ever in the history of America where so many Americans came together and said, No, but our government passed it anyway. That's what I want you people to think about, because the future of what we're dealing with here in America, we're history. You mark my words. No, I'm not Rush Limbaugh. No, I'm not President Obama. I am just Joe Albero. But I've not been wrong in a lot of things in my lifetime. And I'll tell you what, I'm right here. These politicians should have listened. There should have been enough pressure to understand, you know what, we're not going here with this. And for some reason, they did it anyway. Financially, this country is shot. Politically, this country is shot. The only way you can win back Americans is your vote. You can shock them. Now mind you, go back to the Bush-Gore time, and even though your votes may have been there, the end result was not in the Democrats' favor the last time. And perhaps it should have been. As stupid as I think Gore was, he wasn't as stupid as Bush. So you think about this, folks. We're going to wrap it up with this. It's a rainy day. I hope everybody stays dry. I hear it's going to get pretty cold at night. Again, we're no weathermen. We don't do the weather reports. We're just talking about the obvious. Folks, I appreciate you coming here. I appreciate your comments. Please keep them flying in. We want to know how you feel, and we want other, even if it's just our local state delegates, senators, congressmen, whoever, governor, whoever's coming to our site, we want them to know how you feel. And I appreciate those comments. I appreciate your support. We'll see you Tuesday. Thanks. Have a good night.